What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Home Built Workshop. Today we're going to make a set of these. What are they, you might ask? These are covers for the grates of your stove. This is a really simple but useful project. Stick around, check it out. So this project is going to start out with a couple of pieces of aspen that I milled up on the chainsaw mill. They're dry and ready to be put to use. First, I'll pass these through the drum sander a couple of times to get them nice and flat. If you don't have a drum sander, you could use a router sled or even a hand plane to get the boards flat. Now I'm going to mark a nice straight line along one edge, and then on the bandsaw, I'm going to cut along that line. This will give me a fairly straight edge. And now I'll just run that freshly cut edge on the joiner to square it all up. So that method of getting a nice straight square edge worked out really well, cutting off the live edge and then running it on the jointer. In one of my recent live streams, we were brainstorming some different ideas of removing the live edge and getting a nice square edge. There's a couple different ways you could do it. One would be using a circular saw with some sort of a track. You could use a sled on your table saw, but this is one method that I wanted to try and looks like it worked pretty well. So now I just need to cut these pieces down to length. Now I can't use my crosscut sled because these are just a little bit too wide, so I'm gonna have to use the miter gauge. I'm gonna make sure everything's nice and square, make the cut, and then I need to rip down a few strips that I'll be able to wrap this whole entire piece with. These are gonna be a little bit taller so that they sit off the grates of the stove. These are just some pieces of elm that I had left over from a previous project. Now I'm just going to mark a center line on these pieces so that I can resaw them on the bandsaw. And we'll smooth these pieces out with another pass through the drum sander. And now I'll just grab my miter sled and cut 45-degree miters on all of these pieces. I made a video about this miter sled. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check it out. Now we can just add some glue to the joints and clamp it up. I'm going to use one of these strap clamps. They seem to work really well for holding things like this nice and square. I almost forgot to put glue along one edge to glue it to the board as well. That would have been a hard one to fix. Mistakes are proof you're trying. Thankfully that didn't turn into a mistake. Aha! Now I just need to repeat that process for the second cover. And now using a 45-degree router bit, I'm just going to put a small chamfer around the top edge. Bam! And now just a little bit of light hand sanding just to make sure the edges are softened nicely. This thing's ready for finish. And for the finish, I'm going to use this salad bowl finish made by General Finishes. Now there's a couple different reasons that I decided to use this. One being I want to make sure I have a nice food safe finish. Who knows if you'll need to set some food or something on here. So I definitely want to make sure it's food safe, although most finishes are food safe once they're completely cured. But really the main reason I wanted to use it, I already had it on hand and I need to use it up. I've mentioned in previous videos that I always save thin strips when I rip something down. This is why. First I'll apply a coat of finish to the inside. This is mainly just to seal the piece up. It looks to me like there's a little bit of figure in this aspen. Let's see. A little bit. I don't know if you can see that on there. A little bit of figure. That's kind of cool. While the finish is drying, I'm going to cut some thin strips of cork. These will get placed on the bottom of the covers just so they don't rattle around and bang around on the stove. Since this cork is contact paper backed, it's really easy just to peel and stick it in place. And that wraps up the project. All we need to do now is put them into place and try them out. Well, there it is, guys. This project is complete. A really quick build, but yet really useful. Gonna be handy to have this around. If you enjoyed this project, go ahead and give it a big ol' thumbs up. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. I'm trying to get by here. Oh, are we gonna make it? Yeah, we made it. And the luster, added depth and luster. If it'll open. In a long time. Come on. Ah, we're getting somewhere. I'm gonna bend the can all up. Really? All the way to the end.